Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 24. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 24. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Varibrajakachaja Stotara Sata Shri Srimadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 24. Yonta sukon tararamas tatantar jyotirevaya sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuto digacchati. Yonta sukon tararamas tatantar jyotirevaya sayogi brahmanirvanam brahmabhuto digacchati. Yonta sukon tararamas tatantar jyotirevaya sayogi brahmanirvanam brahmabhuto digacchati. Ya one who antasukha happy from within, antaramaha active within, tata as well as, antajoti, aiming within, eva, certainly, ya, anyone, sahi, yogi, mystic, brahmanirvanam, liberated in the Supreme, brahmabhuta, self-realized, adigachati, attains. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. One whose happiness is within, who is active within, who rejoices within and is illuminated within, is actually the perfect mystic. He is liberated in the Supreme, and ultimately he attains the Supreme. Purport. Unless one is able to relish happiness from within, how can one retire from the external engagements meant for deriving superficial happiness? A liberated person enjoys happiness by factual experience. He can therefore sit silently at any place and enjoy the activities of life from within. Such a liberated person no longer desires external material happiness. This state is called Brahmabhuta, attaining which one is assured of going back home, back to Godhead. Yonta sukontaramas tatanta jyotirevaya sa yogi brahmanirvanam brahmabhuto digachati. So in this verse, the word Brahma, Brahman, is mentioned several times. Brahma, Brahman, Brahma means unlimited, and Brahma means spirit. Because we are spirit, we are also unlimited. And this unlimited quality that each one of us has is also qualified to enjoy unlimited happiness. There is no question that in the material world in which we are living now, there is some happiness, but it is flickering. It's just like in the desert, there is some water. Many, many years ago, I worked in the Sahara Desert for a year or so, and every so many 500-600 kilometers, there is a small water hole, but it is tiny, and around the water hole there is a little vegetation. Some animals come and drink, but that water is like a drop. Yes, there is water in the desert, but in the desert you require millions and millions of liters of water. You require rainfall. A few drops of water is not enough. It doesn't help the desert. In the same way, the happiness in this material world is like the small drops of water in a desert. It keeps us going, barely, barely. We keep trying again and again to enjoy happiness, but it is limited. We have a capacity for unlimited happiness, and that unlimited happiness happens in Brahman, in the spirit, not in the senses. We are spirit, and in the spirit, within the heart, that is where we enjoy happiness. We are trained in the material world, in the consumer society in which we live. Our political, religious, educational leaders, they train us to enjoy the material senses, the externals, but actually enjoying the touch of your skin against another touch of skin, enjoying what you see with the eyes, enjoying what you taste with the tongue. That is a temporary enjoyment. And it is reflected from within the heart. The real enjoyment is in the heart. For example, when I become very, very happy, I don't say my head is bursting with happiness or my mind is bursting with happiness. No, I say my heart is bursting with happiness. It is going on there. Similarly, when we feel pain, if somebody disappoints us, if somebody hurts us, we don't say, hey, you broke my heart, you broke my head. We say, you broke my heart, because we are sitting in the heart. There, that Brahman, that spiritual potency that we are, has the capacity of eternity, knowledge, and unlimited bliss. Sat Chit Ananda. That's who we are. Jivera Swarup Hoy, Nitya Krishna Das, Krishna Tatasta Shakti Bheda Abheda Prakash. We are eternal servants of the Supreme Brahman. How do we know this? We know this because there is some supreme power that is supplying everything we need. We can create nothing. We may have big factories, big economic development, big this, big that, big plan, but actually in our big factories, we cannot manufacture a grain of rice, a grain of wheat, a vegetable, a fruit. These things are coming by the mercy of Mother Nature, by the soil, and by the rain. And it is beyond our control. Therefore, Krishna says that Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam, the controller who is giving us these necessities, is sitting in the heart. And the difference between that controller, that Supreme Brahman or Para-Brahman, and our limited nature of Brahman is that Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman, that one Brahman, that one consciousness is supplying the needs of everybody else's consciousness. You don't require a lot of intelligence to understand that there is a controller. Just like outside my door, there is a tram stop. And the tram comes every 7 minutes and it goes to Central Station. So when I want to go out of the house, I go to the tram stop and I take my tram. I wait a few minutes, the tram arrives and I go. But suppose I go outside to the tram stop and after 7 minutes, no tram. Maybe it comes after 20 minutes. Or then it comes after 7 minutes. Or the wrong number tram comes, going the wrong direction. What is the first thing you do? First thing you do is you call the tram company and say, hey, what is going on? You guys are supposed to control, to make this tram available at a certain time, going to a certain destination, and it's not happening. In other words, the reason that the tram comes on time and goes to the right destination is because there is a controller behind it. There is an organization behind it. There is somebody who takes care that there is a driver, that there is electricity, that there is timing, everything is going on. If there is no proper timing or proper direction, then you can say, hey, who is in control here? So similarly, when we look at the universe in which we live, everything is working precisely according to a control system. The sun rises at a certain time, it sets at a certain time, the seasons follow each other in a regular way. In fact, astrological calculations can calculate events like solar eclipses, lunar eclipses, that will happen in the future. So precise is the universe managed. This precision of management within the universe implies that there is a controller. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna concludes by saying that Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Ridesh Arjuna Tishtati, that the controller is sitting within the heart. Earlier in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 15th chapter, Krishna says, Sarvasya Chaham Ridisani Vishnu Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. I am controlling everyone. I am Sarvasya Cha Aham. Aham means me. Krishna is speaking. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Lord is speaking. The Blessed Lord says, I am in everyone's heart. And from me, everything is coming. Remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. I am in complete control. But later on, in the 18th chapter, when Krishna summarizes the Gita, it doesn't say that Krishna is in everyone's heart. He says to Arjuna, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam. The controller is in everyone's heart. That indicates that even if you don't believe in Krishna, even if you don't believe in a personal God, you have to believe in a controller. You cannot claim there is no controller. That is nonsense. That is madness. Anyone who claims that there is no controller belongs in an insane asylum. No coherent, sane person can deny that somebody is in control. So Krishna is saying that controller is in the heart. Just like I'm in the heart, that controller is there also. And people who take an interest in spiritual life, people who become a little humble and who understand these basic principles, they can feel the presence of this controller. I can feel it, you can feel it, thousands of people can feel it. And that means that controller is all-pervading. I am conscious of what is going on in my body, but I don't know what is going on in your body. But the Supreme Controller, he knows what is going on everywhere. Therefore, elsewhere in the Gita, Krishna says, Kshetragyam chapimam vidi sarva kshetreshu bharata. The my dear Arjuna, my dear friend, my dear disciple, actually is speaking to us through Arjuna. Please understand that I am the knower in everybody's body. Kshetra kshetragayor jnanam yat tach jnanam matir mama. And my opinion, and this opinion of Krishna, is no simple opinion. Krishna is the supreme authority. No one can speak like Krishna speaks. No one is as famous and as knowledgeable and as known and glorified as Krishna. He says real knowledge is to understand the difference between the body and the soul. Not PhD, not Nobel Prize, not university education, not building big factories, not trying to improve the material situation, which, by the way, cannot be improved. In fact, Srila Prabhupada said that the definition of a rascal is someone who's trying to make this place, which is miserable, into a pleasurable place. It is asukam. It is full of misery. So one who's trying to make this asukam world into sukam is a rascal. You cannot change anything. Everything is under the control of the Ishvara. That Ishvara means controller. So this controller is in the heart, and Krishna concludes the Gita by saying, at least accept there is a controller. And what is the next step in accepting the existence of a controller? The obvious next step is that you accept his control. You accept the situation that there is a controller. And you act according to his direction. Controller means that you have to act according to his direction if you want to have a sane lifestyle. When you act against the direction of the controller, then life becomes crazy. It becomes full of contrary activity. It becomes difficult. It becomes out of control. Controller out of control. Therefore, in the next verse, Krishna says, in the next verse, Krishna says, you Ishvara sarva bhutanam hridesha junatishthati brahmayam sarva bhutani yantarudani maya tam eva sharanam gacha. Tam, to him, that controller, sharanam gacha. Go, gacha, sharanam, to surrender. Sarva bhavena. my dear Bharata, my dear Arjuna, my dear living entity, accept that he's a controller and surrender unto him under all circumstances. Even if you don't know the name of God, even if you follow a Christian tradition or Muslim tradition or Jewish tradition or Buddhist or Hindu, whatever, simply by accepting a controller and surrendering unto him, you are actually fulfilling the purpose of all religion. The purpose of religion is to understand that I am controlled by a supreme power and my duty is to act according to his direction. So, sarva bhavena bhar, under all circumstances, Krishna advises us, surrender to this controller. I mean, it makes sense. It's just like if I want to catch the tram. If I want to go to Central Station, I have to take the tram number 12. If I take the tram number 3, I go somewhere else. So if I want to achieve my aim, if I want to do something positive, I have to accept the control system in place. And what is the result of accepting the Supreme Controller? So, Tat Prasadat, by his mercy, Param Shantim, you become fully peaceful because you come to a position of reality. Tat prasadat param shantim stanam prapsasi shashvatam. Why do you become peaceful? You become peaceful because you are actually fulfilling what is the purpose of life. You're actually living according to the reality, which is that you are subordinate to the Supreme Controller. And then you become stanam. You get the result of surrendering to the Supreme Controller is that you get a foundation, something to stand on. This is the greatest gift of Krishna consciousness, that simply by hearing about Krishna, simply by chanting Krishna's name, you can come to this position of understanding that you have a foundation. You know where you're going to go. You know that even in the next life, it will be progressive. You can even end your cycle of birth and death. You can come to the moment of death without any fear, without any problem. And you can cross over death by the mercy of this controller. In other words, accepting a Supreme Controller and acting according to his direction brings you peace and fearlessness, because you know you're going in the right direction. That is a gift given to you, especially by Krishna, within the heart. So, as we were explaining that in this verse 24, the word Brahma is mentioned. Brahma Nirvanam and Brahma Bhuta Adigachati. Brahma Bhuta, this is Brahma Bhuta means to be one with the Absolute, to accept that there is someone taking care of things. And in the 18th chapter, Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. You become prasanna, you become happy within the heart. Prasanatma means that happiness within the heart. All of us have experienced sometimes moments of happiness in the heart, that the heart becomes filled with joy. It almost bursts. So this is called prasanatma. And this prasanatma, this prasanna, this joy is eternal, because it is the real reality of who we are. And the result of accepting a controller and becoming happy, na sochati, na kankshati. You don't become unhappy, and you don't hanker for anything. If something comes, you accept it. If something goes, you accept it. Na sochati, na kankshati. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu. You understand that everyone is a spirit soul. He may be in a different body. He may be in an animal body or a human or a female or a male body, but sama sarveshu bhuteshu. The result of surrendering to the controller is that you see everybody equally. Then, mad bhaktim labate param. At this point, Krishna says, you become qualified to engage in my devotional service. So, generally this process of engaging in devotional service is gradual. In fact, the Vedic literature and literatures written according to the Vedic version, literatures like the teachings of the Buddha, the Bible, the Quran, all these literatures are dealing with our material situation. These literatures, if we follow their instruction, their idea is that we become happy in a material world, but in a progressive way. We don't break the laws of the controller. We learn how to stay aligned with the controller in yoga. And gradually, we can move further and further towards the supreme destination. Even if we don't understand the personal identity of God, by accepting Him as a controller, by following the Vedic knowledge and knowledge written according to the Vedic version. Vedic means knowledge. So Bible is knowledge, Quran is knowledge. If you follow those books, then gradually you don't go down in the evolutionary system, you go up. And there is an evolutionary system. Just look around you, from aquatics to insects to beasts to trees to birds. There is a movement throughout the whole universe, a movement of life, a cycle of life and death. Now, as a human being, when we have a human body, we are at the top of the evolutionary process. So we don't want to go backwards again. We want to continue our human life. And the guarantee for continuation of a human life is engagement in spiritual activities. If you do not engage in spiritual activities, if you simply live for eating and sleeping, then you might as well get an animal body, because the animals, they also eat and sleep. In fact, their arrangement for eating, sleeping, and sex is much more practical and much more organized than our own. So, we don't want to go back into animal life. We want to continue our spiritual life. And to do that, we have to engage in the service of Krishna. And then Krishna says, once you become Brahma Bhuta, once you become connected with the Supreme Controller, then you become free from anxiety, free from hankering, and you see everything equally. And then you get benedicted by the devotional service. Mad bhaktim labate param. Labate means to get, and param means supreme. Bhakti param, the supreme devotional service, comes to you in a gradual process. But we are not living in a society which understands these basic principles. We are not living in a society which acts according to the arrangement of the controller. We are living in a society which is trying to be independent of the controller, who is trying to find happiness outside instead of inside. So, this society in which we live is called the society of Kali, the society of ignorance and quarrel and hypocrisy. So, there is a special allowance by Krishna, by the controller, that even within this handicapped society, simply by chanting the name of God, you can obtain this bhaktim param, or this supreme devotional service to the Lord. Kale dosha nide rajan, Shukadeva said to his disciple, Parikshit Maharaj. The Maria King says, the times in which we live, Kali Yuga, it is like an ocean of fault. But there is one good quality, He asti eka mahadguna. Mahadguna, great quality. Eka, one. What is that? Kirtana deva Krishnasya. Simply by glorifying Krishna. Mukta Sangha. You become liberated from this material condition. Parambrajet. And you don't come back to this material world. Thank you very much. So, we have Atma Pagemaker with us. Atma Vidya Prabhu, Dandavats, Hare Krishna. He says humble obeisances to Srimad Bhagavad Gita and to the audience. And Mandy Pryor from South America, good evening, Prabhu, Hare Krishna to you. Thank you very much for joining. And continue in your comments. They will be answered. And if not, we will talk again next Wednesday. Hare Krishna.